Hello everyone and welcome back. I've got an update to our Frostygon build. A lot of people have been really excited about this build and been using it. Other streamers have been using it and they've been telling friends and friends of friends, and all the people on my community has been using it as well. So I thought I'd make an updated video that kind of makes it a little bit clearer, concise, and if you look down below in the description section, I even have it all written out. So let's go over it. The best way that I found out how to do this is to actually use combat metrics. You know, the parsing add-on that people have. Well, what I do is that you've got the fight stats that tell you all your, how much damage you did in fighting. But there's a little thing over here called the info tab, and it tells you all the information you need for a build. I love it. When someone sends me this, I know what's going on. It's got all what their skill bar looks like, what all of their gear looks like in traits and enchants, and what all their CP is like. So let's go through this. All right. So what you're going to have is that you're going to have the Frostbite set. That's kind of the most important thing over here. All right, Frostbite, the big thing about Frostbite is that it's giving you spell damage, it's giving you crit chance, it's giving you more spell damage, and it increases your damage with frost abilities by 8%, increases your damage done against chilled enemies by 4%, and increases your damage done against enemies afflicted with minor brittle by 2%. So there's a lot of things going on here. And you want to make sure that you have these frost abilities so that it can activate all that. So our first bit of gear, get yourself an ice staff, and you're going to be having it in precise for the trait, and you're going to be using the frost enchant. So frost weapon it's called. Next thing you're going to have is that for the mask, you're going to use Slimecraw. Slimecraw is great because just the one piece, which we're only using it for a one piece because we got the Oakensoul ring taking up an extra slot on us, all right, is that if you look at the one item, it adds 771 crit chance. That's higher than other monster set helms that have crit chance for their first item. I don't know why they did it that way. It just is. Like other ones are like 600 something or other. This one is just 771. So that's what we choose because we want that crit chance. So Slimecraw, we're getting it in Divines, Maximum Magicka. Then we're having Epaulets of Frostbite. So there's our Frostbite back again. So that's our shoulders. All right. In Divines, Maximum Magicka. Robe of Frostbite. All right. We're going to be having that again in our Divines of Magicka. And then it's, let's skip that. The other thing I have is a Ring of Frostbite. And that's in Bloodthirsty and spell damage. So because the staff has 2 slots for us, we only need a total of 4 items because you got the staff. So you got Frostbite is 2, and then 3 for the shoulders, and then the robe is 4, and then the ring is 5. So there's our 5-piece set in there. The other set that I have on here is Whorl of the Depths. Now this comes out of the Dreadsail Reef Trial. Now I know, don't freak out. I have it in Perfected just because I was able to get it. You do not need Perfected, all right? The difference of Perfected and non-Perfected, if you look at the stats on here and what's going on, do you see over there where it says 2 different 5 items on there? One says 5 perfected items in parentheses. The other one says 5 items. The 5 perfected items is the thing that goes away when it's not perfected. So all you're losing is 657 crit chance, and that's nothing. That's totally fine. So you can go through this trial on normal and get all of this nice gear. All right. Now, that being said, and you'll see this in my description below, all right, it's hard to get 12 people together and go through and get all this stuff in there. So if you're kind of by yourself, I have some options for you. So if you look down below, all right, options other than Whorl of the Depths are Winter's Respite, which gives you a little bit more healing focus. It's found in Western Skyrim on the overland. Ysgramor, which is kind of a damage set, and it's found overland in Eastmarch. So again, easy to get. And then the last one I would recommend is Winterborn. It's an AoE damage, kind of movement speed. It slows them down a little bit. And you can get that from normal Maelstrom Arena just out of the chest at the end of each level. You actually don't even have to complete Maelstrom Arena. So if that's something that scares you, you just got to get to the chest at the end so you could theoretically just do the first level over and over and over again and just, go through the chest and get your stuff. So that's a little bit more labor intensive in there. So I would recommend either Ysgramor, which when I say it's overland means that you can also buy it on the traders. So you can find it yourself. You might have a lot of it if you were going through, Greymoor and you're going through, Eastmarch and doing a lot of the questing over there. You probably have a lot of it already. So those are two wonderful sets in there. The Whorl of the Depths would be my preferred just because of what it does for its damage. And let's look at that damage right now. It does, for its 2 items, adds spell damage. It adds Minor Slayer, which gives you 5% extra damage in all those situations. More spell damage, the crit chance, which you don't need it for the normal, the non-perfected version. And then here's the thing. Here's what it has for its 5 items. When you deal damage with a light attack, you apply Whorl of the Depths to the target, dealing 54/16 frost damage over 8 seconds. When this effect ends, a 5-meter whirlpool is created under the target for 6 seconds and deals 4,274 frost damage every 1 second. This effect can occur once every 18 seconds and scales off the higher of your weapon or spell damage. All right, so a lot of fun, great graphic too, with there. But again, not necessary for this build. Remember, this build is a dad build. It's not supposed to top the DPS charts. All right, in here, it's supposed to do a lot of damage, but at the same time, be very versatile at keeping you alive. So it's wonderful, like for arenas, overland stuff, boss fights, everything. It's just great. So that's our other set that I use. So you're always going to want to have Frostbite, but then you can either have Whorl of the Depths, you have Winter's Respite, Ysgramor, or Winterborn. There we go. Yeah. The other thing that you are going to need with this setup, of course, is that you're going to need Oakensoul, because it is a 1-bar build. Now, this is a 1-bar build that is not a heavy attack build in there. The heavy attack Sork builds are wonderful right now. And if that works well with your hands a little bit better, that's fine. This one is still a light attack because the light attacks are what are going to proc the Whorl of the Depths for mine. But here's kind of the fun thing. Because of the Oakensoul ring and we get Empower with it, which is one of the things with heavy attacks, I still do a lot of damage when I do a heavy attack. So if I want to give my hands a little bit of a break, I'll just do heavy attacks. Or I'll mix it up. Light attacks, heavy attacks, proc my Whorl of the Depths, and then, start doing heavy attacks for a while and maybe get back a little bit of resources or something. There's a lot of play within here with that. So Oakensoul. What is Oakensoul? All right. Oakensoul is you can only have 1 bar. So when you're equipped, you're unable to swap between your primary and backup weapon sets. But you gain all of those buffs, all those minor buffs going on there. So that's what's so great about it. And you see down here, I have all my jewelry in Bloodthirsty and in spell damage. All right. Then the next thing that we're looking at, of course, is our CP. I have it all kind of listed here, and I have it listed below. So if you look down below, I have basically the green tree. You can take whatever you want. It doesn't affect us at all. For the blue, you're going to want Wrathful Strikes, Fighting Finesse, Biting Aura, and Master at Arms. And then whatever you can put your passives into. For your fitness, for the red tree, you're going to want Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Rejuvenation, Siphoning Spells. And then whatever, passives that you can put your stuff into. There are a couple of options that I always say in here too that you can have within, especially the red tree. If you want to take out the rejuvenation, because the rejuvenation is, it's not that much, even at full, it's only 90 to health, magicka, and stamina. I have in here celerity ready to go if I want to just move faster. That's an option as well that we could have in there. Let me see. Oops. The another one that I have in there is if I win a group of friends, I want to res a little bit faster. I've put stuff in the Spirit Mastery, so you could swap regeneration out for the Spirit Mastery. So there's a couple of things that you could play in there. With the blue CP, you want to keep pretty much what I've got in there. That works the best I found in that. So that's all of your CP stuff. The Mundus that let's go over to here. 64 points into Magicka for your attributes. The Mundus that I'm using is the Thief, all right, to give us that extra crit chance in there. The food that I'm using is Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Potions that I use are just our regular spell pots. Yeah, regular Essence of Magicka, the trash pots, as people call them. We don't need anything else. We don't need these spell power pots, you know. We've got everything covered, so we don't need that at all. For your skills, the thing that I also love about this build is that you get a lot of these skills at or before level 20. So you're able to do stuff with them right off the bat. Okay, so the skills that I use Winter's Revenge. All right, I use Screaming Cliff Racer, Unstable Wall of Frost, Deep Fissure, Arctic Blast, and I use Northern Storm. Now, if you're a big fan of the bear, you can go with the bear. It doesn't bother me. I actually started with the bear until I went to Northern Storm. Northern Storm's really nice because it's a nice big AoE and it gives you a spell damage boost of 300 for 30 seconds. So it's kind of nice when you gather up mobs together so that you can do that. So there's our skills. For passives, put any passive, the only one out of your class passives that you're not going to, have at full is going to be your green balance. I would level it up only for the reason of getting maturation, because we're the only ones that get this. Increases your max health by 10%. Yeah, when you heal yourself. So it's really great. But we don't use any of the skills out of there. So Animal Companions, you're going to have all that. Winter's Embrace, you're going to have all that. And then I think I also put in there, take all the destruction passives. Boom. Take all the light and medium, because we're going to have things in light and medium. And the Undaunted. I mean, you can put stuff in all your other things that you want to, depending on how many skill points. But the Undaunted ones are good ones, because they're going to give us a little bit of bonuses in there. So it's at your discretion what else you want to put stuff into. So all your crafting and everything. So wonderful. And I might have missed this. Let me just make sure. Because the Frostbite and the World of Deaths is a light set for both of those, I recommend, you don't have to, but I recommend having the Slimecraw medium, because that gives us just a little bit of bonuses to our medium. So you could have all light, and that's fine, but I like to put one piece of medium, because we get a few, a couple of 2% here, 4% here, and you can look those over into our medium armor. So it kind of helps out us a little bit, gives us a few more points of spell damage with that. All right. So that's the build. All right. Going back to here again. Again, I showed you all of the gear, what you're going with, and some options. Showed you all the CP, and I showed you all the skills and the attribute, the mundus, the food, the potions, and so forth. Now, how does this play? What are you doing? What are you kind of doing here as a, for a Frost? Pretty much what you want to begin with is that you want to begin with your Deep Fissure, because that takes 3 seconds to gear up. That's your heavy hitter. It hits at 3 seconds, and it also hits 6 seconds later. So at 3 seconds and 9 seconds from when you started. So it's making sure to kind of aim that. The other thing that you have here is you got Winter's Revenge. That's your good range AoE. So if I see a mob, I lay that down. All right. When I get closer in on the mob, Everything I'll throw an Unstable Wall of Frost. All right. And then I'll start doing Screaming Cliff Racer. Great thing about Screaming Cliff Racer, it's also a heal. We have 2 heals on Frostygon. We have a heal from the Screaming Cliff Racer because of the passive in Animal Companions. Right here, the first one, the Bond with Nature. Anytime one of your Animal Companion skills ends, you're healed 1386 for health. And that is including the Screaming Cliff Racer. So there's your heal every time, and that's our spammable. All right. Our big heal is Arctic Blast. Arctic Blast heals you, but it also stuns a group. So don't do it right away because it does for like 20 seconds. It does do damage ticks on enemies, which is great. But what you want to do is wait until you're closer in combat. So what I start off doing when I'm about to go into combat is that I go and I start off with my Deep Fissure to hit. As I'm still running in, I lay down the Winter's Revenge. I get a little closer in range, and I put down my Unstable Wall. That also gives me a shield, by the way. And then as I start really getting to them, when they think they're going to do a little something to me, then I hit my 5, boom, which freezes everybody like frozen statues. I love it. Oh, there's my Whorl of the Depths going off. Oh, it's such a great graphic. Yeah. And then if my ulti is up, then I'm popping my ulti. Yeah. So pretty much everything dies in here, and I'm healing myself up. I'm stunning everybody who has not been stunned yet. So as far as a rotation, there really isn't one, but that's the thought process as you're going along with that. Start off with your Deep Fissure, hit them from a distance with that. I'm doing a light attack in between so that I make sure that my Whorl of the Depths is going to go off, and then I'm, freezing them, reapplying Deep Fissure when needed, and when my ulti's up, it's up. And if you see, when I'm kind of out of resource a little bit, I can also do a heavy attack. All right. I love it. And I don't know if you can see, but we also get a shield when we do our heavy attack with an Ice Staff. All right. When I do a heavy attack with an Ice Staff, boom, I've got a shield. So you put that shield, mix in with that shield, with a heal, and from a spammable, and then a heal from our Arctic Blast. Oh my God, we're kind of hard to kill. We're kind of hard to kill. So again, are you going to top DPS meters and stuff, and if you do all the parts and stuff? No, but that's not what this is designed to do. We survive. We do damage, we survive, and it's fun because it's a theme to build, within here. So a lot of great stuff, within this build. Let me see, there was one last thing I wanted to mention with this build, and of course, I get to the end of my video, and I forget exactly what it is. Let me see. So I was talking about this, I was talking about that, I was doing, all of our frost stuff. Oh, I remember what it is. I love how you got to go back to go forward sometimes. The whole idea of a frost build finally started to work because of this thing in our weapons. In the Destruction Staff, all right, in the Tri-Focus, if you look at that, it says fully charged Ice Staff heavy. Wait, no, that's not it. Hold on. I love it. I'm like, I almost had everything. Boom, here, Piercing Cold. Increases your damage done by 2%. That's why you have to be a Warden. Which increases to 12% when wielding an Ice Staff. That's all damage. That's not just like, like with Frostbite, it only works with Frostbite ability, frost abilities. All right? When you have a Frost Staff, an Ice Staff, you are doing 12% more damage overall. Yeah. So again, you might not see, like, if you try to parse on this, you're going to see that it's not going to be very high, which is what I did in like my old video when I was explaining things, stuff like that. At most, I was between 60 and 70K. All right. And I don't even like to mention it. And that's on a parsing dummy. And that's doing all the things that you need to parse. That's not this build. And even if you're not getting, 60 or so, that's not what this build is. You know, it's about doing a lot of damage, especially to group damage, and surviving. Taking on a Whorl boss, yeah, it might take you 20 seconds more to kill it, but you're not going to die. You're not going to be a glass cannon. It's going to be awesome. You're going to enjoy it. And again, I call it a dad build because it's very easy to put together, it's very effective, and it's fun. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun to just go around and you're just freezing everything. Starting out with my rotation of things, putting everything down, freezing them, boom, getting everything going, and oh my gosh, you're just bringing a blizzard into the enemy. It's absolutely amazing. And there's my Whorl of the Depths going off. I love it so much. So, and people who have put it together, like Ninja614, our friend Tyranny, and other people in our communities who have put it together have been finding out how much fun it is. So much fun is why I wanted to make this video and give you all the components of here. So now you've got an updated video, and again, this is going to go beyond just update 37. You know, I'm making this in 36, and it's not going to change much in 37. So that's why I can make the video now. All right. So it's going to be absolutely wonderful. It's going to be, going to be around for a long time. And who knows, maybe I'll update it if they give us a new Frost, gear set or something. But for right now, it works absolutely wonderful. Go out, make it. It's easy to make, especially with all those overland sets. And you're just going to have a blast with it. You're just going to have so much fun. And to have a theme to build and to have something that, you really feel like I'm doing damage, I'm surviving. And like I said, I have taken this into trials. I've taken, tipsy trials. I've taken it into all the arenas. My arenas have never gone as smooth with this build as any of my other builds. It's so amazing how easy all the arenas feel with this build. And overland content and going through bosses and I can't wait to use this actually in the in quarter 4 when they're coming out with the 2-player infinite dungeons. I'm going to see how this works. I think this is going to be outstanding for that. So if you want to make that with that in mind, go right ahead. So I hope I explained everything in here and a little bit better, a little bit more what is concise for me. Still over 20 minutes, so still pretty good. So I hope you got a lot of that. And like I said, bookmark this because I do have the description below because I don't have a website for these things, but I've got the whole description below that has everything in it. And if I've forgotten something, let me know. I'll fix it in the description. I'll update in the description if there's something in here that I have forgotten. I'll make sure to mention it then with an update. So please, give this a shot. Thank you for all the support on all of my videos. Please like and subscribe and ding the bell and do all the things and check out all the other videos that I have on my channel. I got a nice variety and cooking stuff and console gaming stuff. It's a lot of fun. So check out all that stuff. And if you could, down below, let me know if you're going to try this. Let me know if this is something that interests you. Like I said, I have done the highest of the highs. A lot of people tease me about my Godslayer in there, but the Godslayer, I've done the sweatiest sweaty end games, and I've done the simplest of simplest, and everything in between. And I have never had so much fun on a build than this. Everybody who has tried it is like, wow, this is really fun. And it's like, yeah. And so we now have groups of people teaching it to other people. So now we have a video here that they can give as a reference for this build. And I'm really happy about that. So like I said, if I've forgotten anything, just let me know. I'll add it to the description below. And thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Have a good one and happy hunting in ESO. I think we're going to have an amazing year this year. So thank you so much. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.